Well, let's see. Well, we're back. Don't worry. I will beat that copyright claim as it is 100% fair use and was 100% live doing a whole bunch of stuff, talking about a whole bunch of things. Not too concerned there. And we're back. I think someone reported something, probably. Let's see what I got here going on. Well, again, not concerned. So, as we were saying with the marathon, shit. Oh shit. Oh, so unfortunate. Because as I was saying, there was so much good news I was gonna bring to the table. But I have a question. Why were they looking for footage south? Like where this was. Look at that. Let's see. So this is the area that they were looking for camera help. This yellow is like that goes out, like there's the house, and this goes out to Walenta, like that. So this is that area that they're saying they want the help with the cameras. See? Not over in anywhere to do with the this way, over in the 700 block of Indian, you know. So my question is just so you guys know, fair use is a thing and it's real. Number one. Okay. Okay. Number two. So somebody is trying to impede on my ability to make a living, and that's just what it is. So, and I had 500 witnesses. Can I get a witness? 500 of them. 500 of them to see that I was not abusing any type of YouTube terms of services, nor was I doing anything that would constitute the following. So, carrying on. Look at this. So, why would they think to go over in this area and be asking for camera footage, or that anybody would, you know, they just were looking and said, oh my God, here you go. That means, hypothetically speaking, and well, I should say hypothetically speaking, this comes out that, hey, we're asking for the publics for help, for you guys to look in this area. Like, we don't want anybody else's camera footage, but like just this area. Then they go and they say, like, anybody just go and check your Ring cameras for anything that would be between this hour and this hour, okay? And then they did another one. Moscow Police Department said when they released the car, okay? So when I would look at my camera, I'd be like, okay, my car. Oh my God, there's a white car. There's a white car. Hold on one second. Kimberly Ann, welcome. Riviera Beach is popping good. Someone gifted me a membership when I was not in chat. Aw. So can you get a membership if you're just like not writing in chat? How does that work? I don't know. Anyways, so the only way that you would start looking at your cameras if you lived over there in that area is after the whole December 7th, 8th, 9th saying that we have this white Elantra. Or what do you guys think? Don't know. Yes, you can go on. Yes, Anna has had it way worse. Oh. Hmm. Oh, so do you guys get notified through email when you win a membership? I don't know how that works. So that's interesting. Oh, interesting. I think YouTube chooses it randomly based on the people that watch your channel the most. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, you do. You get notified. Oh, that's cool. Cool. Nice. All right. So then what we're able to do here, let's go ahead and talk about a timeline. You guys should see my desk now. It's just a fucking complete mess. Aww. That. Oh boy, I gotta back up. Hey, guess what? I got secrets. Here we go. 12/8 to 12/22. This is when the Elantra. So when do you think that they got the 700 camera? because they were only asking for this area cameras. And we got cell towers. Investigators have determined that Ethan and Xana were seen at the Sigma Chi. What determined that? Was it pictures or was it statements? Now, the FBI first starts taking tips. The FBI continues to assist. The FBI is accepting tips. That's the first time that we ever hear about that. Now let's take a look at something. On November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. Somebody gave that statement. Somebody stated that. So that would mean that they walked over to the victim and saw them, or you guys see this is going to be like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? This is explosive. So I have to go back in time and take a look at what their people are trying to tell you that you should listen to. We're just going to say, oh, we just messed up. We don't even know what we were writing there. That's not what we meant. So somebody got a phone call that said, hey, can you come over here? Hey, can you come over here? Why? Dude, I just can't get so-and-so to wake up. So... on November 13th, the surviving roommates, plural, summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out, well, which one, and was not waking up. Yeah, all they're going to do it to be testifying that they got home at 1 is that she saw them. You have to like really pay attention to how they word stuff, but do you guys understand this? That means you were totally fine that you called because we believe that somebody passed out. The only way that you would believe that is if you saw them, So how did they see them? And if it didn't make you pass out, then why would you have passed out for like, so 911 doesn't get called. So we'd have to ask ourselves, what time was this? What time were they summoned? That's my first question. Time. On November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one, not both, one. Okay. Which one? It's tearing up my heart when I'm with you. Which one? Then what? What do we got? And then all of a sudden, so and we know that the two surviving or the two deceased roommates on the second floor, they were in very close proximity. So how do you see one but not the other? So let me get this straight. I'm in my house. I call my roommate because I'm being lazy. They're not answering. Then I text. They're not answering. Then I call one of my friends to say, hey, none of them are answering their phones. Will you come over here to see what's going on? What? So when you have to understand, like, because the mainstream media chops up their shit. When Kaylee's dad says, well, they called the girls and, it's not like Kaylee Kaylee not to answer. What phone call is he talking about? What time was that at? But you're going to sit here and tell me, like, just think about how this would have played out in your head. You wake up in the morning and you're either hungover or you're sober, or you still be sober but not hungover, sober but hungover. Anyways, you wake up in the morning, you call your roommates or you text them, but you don't go to the bathroom yet, you don't do anything yet, and you think to yourself, well, God, they haven't messaged me. Well, do I even look outside to see if their car's here? Like, how do I know that they're like not even like? Oh, but then when I tried to call them, I heard their phone ringing, and it was just ringing. So I said to myself, fuck me just walking across the hall to go see what the hell's going on. Let me call other people. To tell them to come over. No, that doesn't make any sense, because what the truth is, it's right in here. Now look at this from a different perspective. And now you can just ask yourself if you believe it. Listen, I woke up on October 13th. The surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they, not one, they is plural. They believed. I mean, are you just talking like I was just writing? They both believed? Is it because they were both down in the downstairs at this time? Because she originally went to bed upstairs, but then after everything, she then went downstairs? At the end of the day, what are you talking about, though? It doesn't make any sense. Like, none of this is logical. Because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not awake and was not waking up. Well, let's think though. For me to say that someone's not waking up, that means I would physically be trying to wake them up. Right? If someone's like not waking up, what do you mean well, yeah, I went into the room and I was trying to wake them up, so I was physically. Okay. Now, how would you attack this? I'm telling you, this is what was in here. This is when I say what was in here, this is what was like. All right, let me back up the way that I'll say that. This was never put in. This wasn't in the probable cause. This ever happening like that. None of that was in the probable cause. So I wake up. I go try to shake my roommate. On November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends, plural. So they summoned multiple people. So who did they call to the residence? Because they believed one of the second floor victims, and they said victims. They said the second floor victims. So they didn't say second floor roommate. One of the other second floor roommates, they say victim. That's what leads me to believe that it's Ethan. One of the second floor roommate. Think about it. There you go. So, can you imagine I go to the room. I leave, whether I'm coming from downstairs or whether I'm coming from that room, meaning Dylan's, and I go to what? Xana's room. That means I didn't notice anything from the point of walking from downstairs, upstairs to Xana's room, or from Dylan's bedroom to Xana's room. I didn't notice anything like blood, nothing, right? And we get there, and what? Somebody was slumped over. Somebody was laying. How? That you would say that you thought somebody passed out. That you wouldn't say, Ethan, okay, I'm going to call other people over. Wouldn't you go, Xana, where's Xana? Xana, where's Xana at? Xana, are you in there? Xana, are you in there? Like, it wouldn't just be the one person that you saw that was, oh my God, I'm going to call other people. You have other people that are in your home to help you. You have other people in your home to help you. If you and your roommate were the only people at your home that also lived there, I could see that you'd have to call other people to help you. But you have other people in that home to help you. Meaning Kaylee, meaning Maddie, but also Xana. So you're telling me you called and summoned other people over to the house before seeing if Kaylee or Maddie could help you? Think about that question on the stand. So you called other people over. Meanwhile, you had people in the house that could have helped. Did you attempt to call Maddie? Did you attempt to call Kaylee? Did you go upstairs to ask them to help you wake up this person? How were they when you saw them? How were they laying? Why did you think that you didn't see any blood? Okay, no, I did not see any blood. Were you yelling in the room? Did you see Xana? How did you physically why did you think this person was passed out? Were they drinking a lot? Were they doing drugs? Why would you think somebody was passed out? And if somebody was passed out and unresponsive, you call other people to come over. You don't call 911 because a person's passed out. Isn't it true that you didn't go upstairs to call, you knew that Kaylee and Maddie were already dead? That's why they couldn't help you, because you'd already been up there. Like, you get it? You get how's anybody going to believe this? Do you believe it? Now, this was put out on November 28th. I waited to show the date. November 28th, not November 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Oh, the day before they know about the White Elantra already. Okay. They know about the White Elantra they at least know about the White Elantra on November 24th or 5th when they give it to WSU. But then if you look into Ant's motions, they know about the White Elantra and they start looking at stuff on the 18th. Okay. Okay. Take a look. Detectives are seeking November 28th. They're still just seeking this area. Detectives are also seeking additional tips and surveillance video of any unusual behavior on the night of November 12th into the early hours of November 13th. Seeing a car at 3:30 in the morning driving in the 700 block is not suspicious. Okay, that's not the area that they were looking for the cars. They say right here. Now, nobody can say what they would have normally done after the fact, okay, of realizing that there was a massacre, okay? But somebody can talk about somebody's normal routine prior to, meaning this. Do you normally go to the bathroom in the mornings when you wake up? Did you go to the bathroom that morning? Where do you sleep that night? Where do you normally sleep? You know, what's your normal pattern of behavior? And so have you ever tried to wake up a roommate? What was your purpose of trying to wake them up in the first place? For example, let's see. Because something that would be normal is this type of a conversation. Holy shit. I woke up. I had a headache. I'm in my bed. I'm just laying there. I'm watching, I'm looking at my social media shit. I was there for like an hour just doing fucking around. Okay. And Ethan's alarm clock on his phone just kept going off. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why does that continue to be going off? So I get up out of bed. I go over to Xana's. I'm trying to figure out where I hear this alarm that keeps going off. Okay. Well, why did you think that it was Ethan's alarm and not Xana's or Kaylee or Maddie's? What made you think that it was Ethan's? Does Ethan stay there often? I mean, every little thing that they're going to say. But a normal person would say, I woke up, did whatever I was doing. I kept hearing something going off. It was fucking loud. Okay. It sounded like an iPhone, like an alarm on an iPhone. So I get up, go out of my room. All right. Because how would you hear an alarm on the first floor from the second floor? Like, I don't think it would be that loud. But maybe it would. So I get up. I thought I heard it coming from Xana's room. So I go to Xana's room. And before actually I even went in there, I had to pee. So I went to the bathroom. And then I come out of the bathroom. And it's continuing to go on. And so was the door open? Was it closed? Could you open it? Could you not? Whatever they're going to say there. Okay. But the question is could you see the other person? Could you see the other person? So like you say that you were not able to wake this person. You thought that the second floor victim had passed out and was not waking up. So how many people live with you? Did you ask any of them to help you? Well, yeah. Then I told fucking Bethany, hey, Bethany, come here and help me. Well, what? Did you call for fucking Xana? I mean, that's her bedroom. Xana looks like she's passed out too. Wait, what? You know what I mean? Like, so somebody looks like they're passed out. What do you mean they're not waking? Yeah, I was trying to yell their names and they're just laying there. I was trying to yell their names. Because he was like half covering up the door. He was half covering up the door. What do you mean by that? Well, the door was closed. And so when I went to go open it, I couldn't move it past a certain point. Okay. So I couldn't really see inside, but I would like right down, I could see like him a little bit. So I was trying to like wake him and he wasn't waking. And so when you're yelling and screaming, could you see Xana? Was she waking up? No. Okay, so Bethany comes up. Okay. Then you guys thought to call other people versus going and asking Maddie and Kaylee to help you? This doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm sorry, but what do you mean? Explain that to me. You're going to have to talk about, okay, so Maddie and Kaylee were there. Did you call them down? Well, I did, but they weren't coming. So you didn't go upstairs to go try to get them? Well, what do you mean? Can you repeat the question? Okay, so you thought these people aren't responding to you, and you thought to call other people to the house when you had other people still there to go and ask them to help you. Yeah, I was calling for them, and they didn't come down. So you didn't go upstairs? No, didn't. Why not? I just thought I would call other people to come to the house. It's going to take a hell of a lot longer to possibly get to your friends that are unconscious and are not responsive. Are you fucking kidding me? So when a jury hears that, okay, so you didn't ask Maddie or Kaylee to help you. Well, I tried to. I called. They weren't answering their phone. Okay, well, you went to Xana's room to, did you go upstairs? And now do you think it's yes or no? So no, I'm just going to not go and ask them because I lived in a house with 6 people. And I'm telling you this right now, those are like my besties, right? So I'm going to run downstairs to the 2 girls down there, or I'm going to run upstairs to the other 2 girls are there. It was 2, 2, and 2. Very similar to this house. And each of our floors had showers, bathrooms, whatever. Okay. There's a difference between you were trying to get, so the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. Just one, not the other. And that to me is interesting. They believe that one. That to me tells me so much shit. If you're screaming and yelling and the other person is in the room, where the fuck were they? They weren't listening to you like scream and yell. Because it's either you thought they were passed out because you were physically shaking them and you couldn't wake them up, or they're passed out because of what? Like you had to have felt that they should have heard you or felt you like shaking them. Otherwise, if you can't physically get in that room, you wouldn't even know what the fuck they were in there. If they're not making any noise, you would think that they weren't in the room. Meaning the door was closed, I couldn't get in, I kept on hearing an alarm go off. Wasn't shutting off. Okay. And I couldn't get into the room, so I figured that they were passed out. That Ethan was passed out. Because it was his alarm. Well, how do you know it was his alarm and not Xana's? Because I know Xana's alarm, her alarm is too legit to quit. or her alarm is baby got back. Okay, so you heard that. Okay, perfect. So why didn't you think that Xana was in there with Ethan? I don't know, because Xana said that she had to get up in the morning and go to do something, so she wasn't there. Just what? Okay. Like, but do you see this doesn't make sense? You would not call other people over to the house until you would go and check and get other people that were there to fucking help you. So if you were to hear this and get all of this as an investigator, because this is what they wanted to pump out, which is just so fucking stupid. They didn't have to do any of this. Like, Moscow, you're just blowing your like own legs off, but whatever. If you're an officer and you're hearing this shit, what do you say to yourself? Oh my God, this sounds so believable. I don't know how you're possibly going to sell it to me that you had other options to go get those people and you didn't go get those people. And instead, somebody is unresponsive. I think that Ann Taylor's going to be able to show that you not only didn't call the cops at that point, but you also didn't call the cops that night in early morning hours when you knew that you had heard something and that you had seen something. Isn't it true that you didn't go upstairs because you knew what had happened up there and you didn't want to see it? How would you know what had happened before it happened? Or why would you think that that was happening? I would be running upstairs, downstairs, okay, to get my other roommates to say, but I would have to physically see something. I'm not calling people over because I hear a stupid fucking alarm going off. That's just not happening, right? And that's not what they say either. They don't say that they heard a stupid alarm going off. They say that, no, I believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. And I think that you're going to have to ask yourself, well, why do you believe that it was just one person? And they're going to talk about that. They're going to say stuff like, well, the alarm was going off. I didn't hear. And then my response back to that is, why didn't you go and get your upstairs roommates? And maybe they're going to say, we did. And then that's what I saw. So think about this. I believe that the only way this makes sense to me, and that you're going to have phones passing, stuff around to each other and blah, 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 that they're leaving out something here. And it would be you went to the downstairs roommate, or you're trying to get into the room. You can't get in the room. An alarm's going off. That means they're never going to leave without their phone. So what the fuck? We tried to get in the room, and we were girls. We couldn't break down the door. So that's why we called a dude to come over. But that would probably be after you did what? You went upstairs to ask your senior roommates what to do, not your sophomore roommates. If something like that was going on in your house, you would tell your other roommates. You would run upstairs and be like, or if you want to say walk upstairs, you'd be like, hey, this alarm has been going off for seriously hours. And you wouldn't just have this, it'd have to go off for a minute. So you'd go upstairs, and because you'd want to be like, listen, what the fuck is this going off for? We can't get in there. No one's, we looked outside, the cars are there. Okay. Which means you'd have to fucking hunt around. What I mean hunt around is you'd have to go over to the window. You'd have to look out the window, look for their cars. Okay. Ethan's car's there. Santa's car's there. They didn't leave. Fucking, then we went upstairs. Then I went upstairs to ask, hey, what the hell? Can we get into this room? You know what I mean? And so I just don't understand how you're possibly going to say, like, nope, we just didn't even bother going upstairs. But yet there's phone calls to them. So you thought you didn't care that they weren't answering you, but you cared that they were? Like, so you cared about one set of the two, but not the other set of the two? Or does it make more sense that they actually did go upstairs? And to me, it makes more sense that somebody would go upstairs. Because you'd get their help to do what? To figure out what to do. You know, I'm going to just call other people over to the house, and I'm not even going to talk to those roommates up there. And yeah, when all of this, like, deciding of what's going to, like, what you're going to do, like, you don't look around the house, there's no blood that you see, there's nothing that you see that's like, and then you don't think to yourself, well, God, both of them must be in there. I just would think that you would go upstairs and get the people upstairs to come downstairs to help you. Like, put yourself in that situation. You're going to call for help for other people to come over, but you're not going to have the people in your house come and help you. That doesn't make sense. That is not logical. And in fact, if they can show that those girls made phone calls to the other girls. So if I can show that Bethany and Dylan are like, you know, well, go wake them up and see if they'll come down and help us. Well, that's fine. I'll call them. So you call them and they're not answering. So then the same thing can be said. So you call them, they're not answering, but you don't go upstairs, but you hear an alarm going off and do you not care about those other roommates up there? Like, you would go up there. Was the door closed? No. And then that's what you would see. And maybe they're going to say, well, I called for people to come over to help, and then I went upstairs. And now I'm going to say that, well, that's just really illogical, but that's fine. And then the question's going to come in as to, well, when the other people came there, I mean, just none of it. Someone's unresponsive, I'm going to call other people to my house. Yes, if I lived alone. That's like somebody missing, guys. If I look around my house and no one's there, that's a missing person. So therefore, I could call other people to say, hey, have you seen so-and-so? I don't need to, oh my God, I need to pick up the phone right now and call the police. Okay, that makes sense that I did not call the police right away because I was calling other people to see if they were in fact with them. Makes sense. You think somebody is passed out and not answering you? And the answer is to call other people? Why didn't you think that they were missing versus unresponsive if you can't see them? Maybe they're not in the room. Their cars were always there and they wouldn't be there. So you would go that route. Well, maybe they just weren't in the room. Why did you think that they were passed out versus not there? Well, because I could see them. Oh, you could see them. I told you they were not going to, their phone was there. They don't leave without their phone. Did they wear earbuds? Maybe they couldn't hear it because their earbuds were in. I don't think that you can get past that you would not go upstairs to ask those roommates to help you before you would call other people. I think that's going to be something to get hard, like to get around. That's going to be difficult. Again, in my opinion. Do you understand that you think that, okay, cops may be good at lying, FBI agents, but do you understand that these people that are going to be taking the stand, they are not trained. They're going to, you better tell the truth. I mean, it's going to come out. I believe that Anne and her team is going to be able to get that out when this happens. And then you said in one report, they wrote this. Is this what you said? Is this what you said? Is this what you said? When did you say this? Why did you say this? You know, do you recall meeting with this detective on this day, this person? How many times do you recall being interviewed? Is this what you said here? Is this what you said here? Is this what you said here? Why did you make these statements if they're not true? So how do we move as an if we're all investigating this and we're Moscow Police Department, I'd be walking in the room and being like, who the fuck is believing this from these two broads? Who do they know? Okay, you guys, we don't think that they have anything to do with this, but their story doesn't make any sense. So do we think that we know that they might know who did it? Because like their story doesn't make sense. Like, do you think that they're covering for somebody? You know, like what would you start talking about if you are in fact investigating this? You'd sit around a round table and here we are. And we'd be like, okay, dude, I just interviewed Bethany. She was talking about there was a ton of people over. They just kept coming and going. Her bedroom's downstairs. People would just come through that door, you know, so she'd hear it all the time, and that she heard people just coming and going, and that she could tell who people were based on voices, you know, that she knows them. So she heard certain voices, and then it sounded like this person, it sounded like that person. And then and there was somebody ringing the doorbell. Everything that was DoorDash, like, you know, like, and it woke Bethany up, or she was still up. I mean, okay, so then we get to the morning. Oh wait, no. Then Bethany said that all of a sudden Dylan comes running into her room at like 2:30, talk about masked men. 2:30, talk about masked men at 2:30. Yeah, that there was a man in a mask, and so then she like spent the rest of her night down in my bedroom, like her bedroom. And so like, so you'd be taking all of these notes, you know, and then you'd be like, okay, well, how does she know this happened at 2:30 versus 1:30 versus 3:30 versus 4:30? You know, well, because she's adamant that Dylan came down before DoorDash came, ringing that doorbell. Wait, what? Yeah, that she said that she saw the masked men before that. I'm just saying, like, think about how you're going to be talking about this with people. But we say to ourselves, okay, we just got to get their phones. You know, we just, let's see when, you know, let's check out their phones. We can keep, you know, you're going to have follow-up questions. You're going to say this, you're going to say that. Okay, great. Well, what did they say about the morning? Well, Bethany says that she heard Dylan screaming her name. Hey. Well, wait, I thought she slept in that bedroom. I know, I guess she went upstairs and then she screamed her name. And so she wakes up because of Dylan telling her to come upstairs because she couldn't wake up one of the roommates. Okay. One of the roommates or who? Well, she just said that she kept hearing an alarm or so. I don't know. I don't know, man. She's just saying that she went in there. She couldn't get in there. She thought that they were passed out. Well, no, just the one person, I guess. What? The door was closed? She couldn't see anything? I don't know. Well, when the detectives got there, they said the door was wide open. She's saying that it was closed, so they busted through. Okay, so then what else did she say? I don't know. Then she said that she thought that they were, she couldn't get in. She could only get in a little bit, and it was Ethan laying there, and she thought he was passed out. So then she called people over because she couldn't wake him up. Wait, she called people over, so she didn't go upstairs? She asked for other people to come over to help versus her upstairs roommates. What? Okay. And then once they all got there, what happened? She said that she passed out, that she fainted as she was about to call 911. Because of what? Well, because when her friends got there, they were able to then push through the door. And they pushed through the door. Yeah, so they moved the whole body. What? And then she went to call 911 and she fell. And then she wakes up. Okay. Where's Bethany when all this is going on? I don't know. I think the reason that people are interested in this case is because it doesn't make sense. Yeah, maybe. So we're investigators, right? And we say to ourselves, well, fuck, let's start pumping out all these press releases, Captain. Let's just start writing a whole bunch of shit. Wait a second. So let's back up. Wait, what was Bethany talking about? These masked men. Okay, well now let's ask Dylan. Hey Dylan, Bethany says that you saw masked men. Oh, well that was, I don't know. Actually, I didn't see them. Well, I didn't see the masked men, but I saw a masked man. Atlanta, can we review? Yeah. Send that on over. So what happened was that night when Kaylee and Maddie had come home, they had seen masked men outside. And then what? Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys see how all this shit's just all the fuck over? But you would have to seriously get your house in order, meaning we're not talking to anybody. I mean, we are, but what the fuck are these roommates talking about? What do you mean there's masked men? What do you mean? Why didn't they call the police last night if there's masked men? And then, then Dylan all of a sudden says, wait a second. Okay, so I guess I heard, I didn't really think about it, but like last night, like everybody was screaming and just being loud. And so I said, you know, knock it off, stop screaming, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to go to sleep. They woke me up in the middle of the night. Wait, what? Yeah, I got woken up at 4. I don't know. How do you know it's 4? Maybe it's 3. I don't, yeah, my phone, I don't know. And then I woke up and I heard what I thought was Kaylee playing with the dog. What? Yeah, why did you feel like you heard Kaylee playing with the dog? Well, I heard the dog barking. So I figured she was playing with the dog upstairs. Upstairs or outside? Where does she normally play with the dog? Well, go ahead. Yeah, so I heard, I don't know. I woke up, I heard the dog. I thought Kaylee was playing with the dog. Then I just hear a bunch of screaming. And so I go and I open up my door and I go outside and I'm like, wait, your door? What door? My bedroom door. It was closed. So I open up the door and for what? Well, because I didn't know what was going on. Like it was screaming. Screaming? What type of screaming? I don't know. I thought somebody was crying. Wait, what? Yeah, because then I went back in my bed. And then I had texted. Somebody. And nobody was responding. So I just figured that, I don't know. And then I heard what I know was crying. Wait, what? Yeah, and then so I opened up my door again, and then so I went out and I heard crying. And something to the effect of like, I'm here to help you. And then this guy in a mask with bushy eyebrows, clad in black, walks past me basically as I'm just standing there in a frozen stock shade. Like I didn't even know what was going on. I'm frozen. You know what I mean, buddy? You know when you're frozen, you just can't move? I was just frozen. Wait, did you? Yeah, I was just looking out like this. So like, I don't think he really saw me, but like I totally saw him in those his bushy eyebrows. Wait, what? Yeah, like the big, just bush. Okay. And then what? Well, he just walked out. And so what did you do? I just went to bed. What kind of mask? Like a ski mask. A ski mask? You saw a man walk past you in a ski mask? Yeah, we do that shit to each other all the time. It was probably Sigma Chi. I thought it was Sigma Chi. They always have to play fucking jokes. That's all they do is fucking joke. They fucking kill animals and then they just put them on our doorstep and they just throw deer nuts at our windows. We just play jokes on each other. They skin animals and it's just what they do. What? Okay. So so there's a guy, yeah, and then like, I don't know, and then I just ran downstairs and I kind of went to sleep with Bethany. What? Well, yeah, because he gave me like an icky feeling. But I told the officer that I just went to sleep in my bed. And I didn't tell anybody about this at all yet. And it was only because nobody had asked me about it. Otherwise, I would have said it. But nobody asked me about it the night before. Huh? Yeah, like nobody asked me anything. Until you just started asking me about like this mask. Well, yeah, because Bethany said that you were freaked out about guys in masks. No, I wasn't the one freaked out. They were. Who? Who was? Kaylee and Maddie had taken the dog out, and then they saw guys in masks or something like that. When they took out Murphy, when they got back, I guess. What? Do you understand this? Like, if you're interviewing somebody and they're just spitballing this shit to you, well, your job is to just let them talk. Yeah, keep going. Uh-huh. And when was that? Well, I don't know. They saw him, so they saw the masked man. Who's they? Kaylee and Maddie. They're the ones, and then they're the ones that told us about him. Who was all at your house that night? I don't know. Like, it's just a revolving door, I guess. People just come and go. I mean, there was Bob, Sean, Frankie, Martin, Dean, Hunter, Sigma Chi people. I think there was probably like older guys there. I don't even know who they were. I don't know. The party driver guy, he always comes in and does shots with us and then just gets and drives. Like, I can't believe him. I'm just kidding. Wait, what? Well, no, we had like a huge party the night before. And then there was just like, we were like day drinking all day. God, we were just smoking so much weed. I was high as a fucking kite. You don't understand. What? Yes, I was high as fuck. You were high as fuck. Everybody, we all were getting blasted. We smoked so much weed. What? Yeah, we were just high, okay? We're high. Then we went to the football game. We didn't really go to the football game. We went tailgating like we do every game. Like, you don't understand. We have so much fun. And we just, I don't know. Who went to the game? Everyone just went tailgating? Yeah, we were doing beer bongs. We were doing shotguns. We played that like bracelet game. I've been just fucked up since Friday. What? Yeah, we started drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What do you mean? I wake up. Okay. Well, then you would go and you'd be like, what the fuck? Did it smell at all to you? Was it different? Did you see any blood? No, I didn't see any blood until I passed out almost. Or I did pass out. So you saw masked men in your house and you weren't scared? No, I figured it was Sigma Chi. They always do that shit to us. So I just went downstairs. I mean, this is what it would be like. This is what these officers would have been dealing with. And these detectives. And so they're over here just like, and I would just think that you gotta like get your grips on, okay, you have two people, everybody was stabbed to death. Except you and Bethany. Do you know why? I mean, this guy walked right past you and he didn't do anything to you? Wait, you think that's the guy? You think that he's the killer? No, there's no way. He walked right past me. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, no. Like, do you understand that these guys just put this all together themselves based on what these girls were saying? Like, or was it like, hey, we don't believe your story, so we're gonna back up. Like, how do you think that they handled them? How I believe that they would handle them is they would just let them talk, and then they would take the pieces that they wanted from their stories and move forward. And that's it. They didn't think that these girls, they let them say whatever. And because I think that the stories that Bethany and Dylan would have been saying would require you as a detective to be like, okay, we got to get a timeline going. Obviously, we have these cameras and whatnot. We're going to get to that, but we need to get their phones. Okay, so let's download their phones. Let's look at their phones. Then you look at their phones, and then let's kind of get a grasp on like what time, like, okay, who are they texting? When are they texting? Who are they calling? You guys, it just takes time to go through all that, right? And then you would ask yourself, wait a second. So the reason that you went downstairs to go sleep with Bethany was because of what? Well, because like, I don't want any of them coming in my room and trying to like sleep with me. They always try to like do sexual shit. Okay, that makes sense. So you went down to sleep downstairs because, yeah, like, and then Bethany blurts out, she thought it was Brian. What? Or she thought it was Mike, and he's always like this, and that's why she came downstairs, because, but I think that the name that they said would have been a name that, you know, my boyfriend hates that guy, and, you know, I just went and slept down there because I was not sleeping with him. Like, he just is going to try to get me to suck his dick, and I'm just not doing that. Like, I did it one time, I made a huge mistake, and I'm not doing that again. Like, he lasts like 2 seconds, like I get nothing out of it. What? Like, how do you think that they would be talking to these detectives? Or would they be like this? Silent. Silent. These are people that run from the police for noise complaints. Remember what the guys said at the band field told the cops when they didn't stop? They thought it was someone from the frat house fucking with them. Yes. Yes. You guys, if either one of these girls say that they did not go upstairs, I call bullshit. Because that's not logical. Unless you're saying and screaming that you see all this blood and, oh my God, the two people are dead, and you would then, run out of the house. Just think about what kind of stories go on in college. Like, yeah, so-and-so, I hooked up with so-and-so, and then, like, he was trying to get fresh with me again, and I wasn't trying to get fresh with him, so I went down and slept with Bethany, and we locked the door. Because you thought somebody was trying to sleep with you? Well, in case he came over. Like, I don't know. Was this before or after? I don't know. This was, like, when everybody was crying, and, like, Kaylee was playing with her dog? Yeah, but then we heard the DoorDash. What? Like, this shit would be all over the place. Do you think that something like this would take place? Okay, listen. We don't care about anything. Drugs, alcohol, nothing. You are not getting in trouble. We are trying to find out who did this to your roommates. Okay, nothing. Do you think that they were given immunity? Could they have been given complete immunity? Did they have lawyers? What immunity? Do you think that anybody was asking for immunity? Why would anybody need to be asking for immunity? Nobody is talking about that enough. I don't see girls sitting there saying that they were doing illegal shit when they run from a noise complaint. They're not going to be like, yeah, I was doing all these drugs and we were buying drugs and selling drugs. You think that that's what they're going to talk about? Hell no. They're just going to be like, oh my God, I'm in shock. And oh my God, like, but these girls had to have called their parents how soon? How soon? Well, we'll know because of phone records. I'd be calling my parents immediately. I'd be, who else can you call? You call your parents and you say, oh my God. Like, immediately you'd be calling your parents. I wouldn't be on no Snapchat. I'd be calling my parents. Unless my parents were shitbags. Maybe I wouldn't call them. Calling your boyfriend, calling your girlfriend, you know. Or maybe not anybody because I would be so out of it, you know. But if so, let's take a look. Now the police. This is where the big blowout happened, okay? And this is where it was like, no more talking to anybody. Take a look. November 30th. There have been media questions about a September 12th, 2022 incident regarding an argument between a group of people walking on the University of Idaho bike path and a cyclist, another cyclist. It was reported that during the confrontation, the cyclist displayed a folding knife. Okay, now next. Regarding the interview with Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson, we feel his responses were messaged to support the implication that new information had been released, specifically generalized statements regarding the potential of targeted victims. And the involvement of drugs were redefined into an affirmative answer. At this time, there is no change or new information in this case. How could you and the prosecutor be so fucking far off that this would ever need to happen? We asked the public to refer to the Moscow Police Department website and ignore Bill Thompson. Backseat Bill. Fucking Bill, what are you doing? Doing interviews with Brian Etten, goddammit. That's got shut down. Let's see. Then they add to it, I think, a little bit here. at this time, investigators do not believe 2 surviving roommates, male in the grub truck surveillance video, private party driver, the male Kaylee Madison called numerous times during the early morning hours, or any individual at the residence when 911 was called. Okay. So I went back and looked to see when they first cleared the roommates. Okay. November 21st, they're cleared. Let's see. So that would be, they were able to clear up this story of whatever the hell they were saying by at least November 21st. Let's see. The first time that they were asking for surveillance from the 3 to 6 a.m., all cameras with or without anything, was November 19th, which is one day after they finally looked at the surveillance, according to Ann Taylor. So this is my own writing, but it's important for the timeline. So they finally looked at the Linda Lane and whatever footage you're talking about on November 18th. On November 19th, that's the first time that they asked for people to start looking at their cameras between 3 and 6 a.m. That was the first time. And now let's look at this 3 to 6. Why do they say 3 to 6? Ooh. Three to 6. Mm-hmm. This is the first time that they started talking about this type of stuff. Sleeping through it. Just sleeping through it. Jack D calls from. This was the first time that they start. Anything that's on this sheet is when they first make mention of anything. They have a bunch of footage. They're looking for footage, and they want context of the events of that night. This is the first day of the FBI on February 21st, ironically the same day that the roommates are cleared. They started a resource webpage, and it's still only at 600 tips. Okay, so I was keeping up when they were updating the tips. Jack D was finally cleared publicly right before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was the 24th. FBI finally updated that they had 260 uploaded images. Brad, the governor, gave $1 million on the 25th. They went from having 103 to 113 pieces. They updated the time of arrival. Imagine that there's 10 new pieces of tested evidence between November 23 and November 25th. But fuck if we tested that DNA, motherfucker. What? Now, 488 digital pictures uploaded to FBI. We're hearing about a red Mustang. Concerns with investigation, not activities. Hannah's suicide is mentioned for the first time. They are relocating the victims' cars on November 29th. That's the same day that they find Brian's white Elantra. There's a sixth person added onto the list that they know of. Private security company hired to watch property at 1122 King Road, December 2nd. Now check this out. They give a new report, and it's that they have 2,645 email tips, 2,770 phone tips. They have 1,804 FBI submits. There's no mention of how many interviews. There's no report on the 4th. Let's see. They decided to stop releasing info to the family, according to the family. Detectives backpedal on Xana and Ethan's whereabouts on the 5th. Tips 2,645. They had the same number as they did on the 3rd. December 6th, working with families, removing belongings. Again, they are concerned with not the activities. They're concerned with their investigation. The dog found in a room that was not part of crime scene. Meanwhile, the whole house is the crime scene. And the reason I stopped right there is because I believe that everything after this point, your tips that started coming in after this point, it's all fake, for fake purposes, because you got people calling in about this white Elantra, okay, to flood the tip lines. So if you want, and this is why I believe Ann Taylor wanted these tips in some type of order, okay, is because any tip that's going to be worth a damn is going to be before the public knows about that white Elantra. And that tells me that it would be these. Right here. Emails, you got these phone, and then you have 1,800 or 1,084 FBI submits. Now, if you want to find out possibly where they would have stuck in the name Brian Kohlberger, you'd want to look though after December 7th. Because now, based off of what Ann Taylor has said, again, this is just my opinion, it would be that if I believe that they flooded the tip line, because why would you be asking for a 2011, 2013 tip, but yet that means the FBI thought it was that. But yet you ask law enforcement this to look for any white Elantra. And that's why I want to know, when was this turned in for the Indian Hills? Okay, then we're going to have the FBI IGG, which was just the name, just look into Brian Kohlberger. What's the date? And this is when the Elantra was put on the news. Fucking wild. And remember that the FBI, they had their first, where they were taking tips, November 21st. Now, you have a candlelit vigil, and they all said that a lot of criminal profilers said that they would show back up at the scene. Like, they would show up to that. They would show up to this. Well, Brian's phone did not ping again in Moscow, Idaho, after it happened. So I want to know where Brian was when this was going on. If I'm a detective, now that I would once they gave me a look into this guy and I had his historical data and I could do all that, this is a date for me that I'd want to know where he was and what he was doing. And if you're Brian and you did it, where would you put yourself so that you would, if it ever came back and people looked it up? I'd be at work, clocked in, and time stamped. Yeah. You want to talk to people now, ready for this? Now, what are the odds that on the same day that they find Brian's vehicle, so November 29th, right, in the early morning hours, 12:30 a.m., they find Brian's car. It's the same day that they decide today is part of an ongoing homicide investigation and original search. We're going to get into these vehicles. We're going to get into these vehicles. Same day, WSU locates Brian's car on campus, according to the probable cause. Were they going to try to plant evidence and Brian's car was just fucking immaculate? No, they would never do something like that, right? I don't know. I'm just showing like how, like, isn't it like ironic? So the same day that they find his car, which they find 12:30, so it's in the early morning hours. Then they decide, you know what? We're going to move all the victims' vehicles. I don't know. We're going to put them in a more secure long-term storage location to continue processing evidence. So you're going to contaminate the cars? No, we're going to tow them, motherfucker. We're going to tow them. Okay. So, but they are going to go off of a camera for an extended period of time to move them to another location. Was there a camera on these cars at all time? Wouldn't you argue that if there, come on, you're not going to argue there was anything? Now the question is when did the sheath go to the lab to get tested? So what are the dates on all of these things? Was it after the identification of Brian Koberger? Because at the time, you guys, we're just getting a press release that tells us that this is happening. We don't know at the time that this part is happening, right? And so the reason that you're going to move it to a more secure long-term storage location. Okay. Sounds good. Now, wasn't Brian stalking them? Investigators have looked extensively into information received about Kaylee having a stalker. They have pursued hundreds of pieces of information related to this topic, but have not verified or identified a stalker. Are they lying? The parents said Kaylee would have told us if she thought she had a stalker. Are they lying? What the fuck? Everything that they go through, and they keep saying that this isn't. When the probable cause comes out, and when you hear like the Jennifer Coffendaffers of the world and mainstream media saying that he was stalking them, it's like, what? Well, they said that they went through hundreds of pieces of leads, and none of them led to Brian Koberger. What? I don't even know what to say. Or is this a lie? And then what? The parents are lying too because she didn't tell us that. We talk to her all the time. She didn't tell us she was a stalker. Well. Well, guys, I took you guys all the way to the midday on your lovely marathon. I am even more confused than I was in the beginning. Okay. I don't even know. I mean, nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. $4,000 crime scene photos. This is what they updated on December 3rd. First update numbers on tips, emails, and calls. Only detectives and support staff. Let's see. Throughout the investigation, detectives have collected the following. You've collected this. So if you know that these exist in such a detailed, like you know the number, you're clearly keeping track, right? How come when they turn this over to fucking Ann Taylor, she's over here like, dude, where are all these tips? These tips are just all over. Nothing but the motherfucking hits. Nothing but the tips. All right, check this out. December 3rd. Look at the wording. Investigators have determined. Okay. Determined. Now. December 5th. So that's the 3rd. This is the 5th. This is after Mr. Gonsalves put them on blast. And they had to talk about that. This is why they weren't giving any more information out. It's like, what? We just want the truth. What? We recognize the frustration this causes and that speculation. However, we firmly believe speculation and unvetted information is a disservice. Right here is where everything changed, in my opinion. Like December 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And why they had to stop telling the family stuff was because it wouldn't have made sense. Like, because they were like, what the hell is going on here? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? What? We're giving them all this information and they're just not doing anything with it. You know? Now they're back to continuing to investigate what occurred. Detectives continue investigating what occurred from approximately 9 to 1:45. They determined that, yeah, they were seen there. Okay. And now they're changing it up to saying that when Ethan and Xana were believed to be at the Sigma Chi house. Okay. Investigators have determined on the 3rd. Determine is different than believe. Determine. Believe that they were seen. Now, December 5th, 2 days after, detectives continue investigating what occurred. Now, we need to know what happened there. Why? Why do we need to know what happened there? What occurred there? It's when they were believed to be there. Well, let me tell you what believe means. That's the same thing as it says when these two roommates were believed to be sleeping downstairs. Oh, come to find out they weren't, right? Believe means fucking nothing. It's just, that's a word that you want to use so that you can get yourself out of it. Well, yeah, after more investigation, then, we determined this. They're acting like they're working through these tips. Detectives continue processing and working through more than, okay, now, when have you ever heard in a fucking criminal investigation that they come out and they talk about how many tips they get? What? Yeah, like they want us to know from jump all these tip lines exist. Tips. Come to find out, oh my God, it was an FBI tip. The name Brian Kohlberger. And we were going through our tip line. So the FBI gave themselves a tip, or they just, how did it all happen? If Ann Taylor doesn't figure some shit out, like, what do you mean someone submitted Brian Kohlberger's name as a tip? What the fuck are y'all talking about? Who was it? This just came out of nowhere? But go back and look at this from the beginning. Who's ever broken down? Because was their plan to say how the tip line? Oh my God, you guys did this. Somebody called it a tip, Brian Kohlberger, and realized, fuck, dude, Ann caught it. We can't go that route. But I said to myself, I've never seen a ticker on these tips. How many, when they're getting them. If you guys are counting the tips, then they should be like in like the most amazing PDF fucking folder that just every time you get it, whatever the note, scan it in, boom, it's part of the PDF file for the tips. Mind you, these tips are all like this, just scattered. Ann Taylor's like, what the fuck? But y'all know that you're getting this ticker and you're over here doing this. 2,645, 2,770. Like, what? Well, now I know why. Because it was a tip that got you Brian Kohlberger. But think about when they started talking about these tips. Nothing but the tips. What a bunch of fucking crazy. This is insanity. I was like, why do they keep up? Look at this, tips. Here we go. This is how many we got this day. This is how many we got. Like, we were on it. And then when we got that tip of Brian Kohlberger, we just started Googling him. The fuck out. So think about this then. Think about this. I want to know this is the biggest setup job I think I've ever seen ever. Maybe next to Karen Reed, I don't know. But this is just like in our faces. Like, look at, hey guys, just so you guys know, we have 6 detectives, 5 support staff, like, and then because I think what they wanted to be able to claim is that we were doing an amazing job. When these tips were coming on, like, we kept such immaculate records. We were updating everybody each day. We would go through everything. Like, we kept updating this and kept updating this. Well, guess what? I can prove that your numbers just kept on like it was the same numbers, and I could show when you didn't talk about interviewing people, and then, oh wait, the number would go up like 100 or 2 or 3. But I was like, why are they so obsessed with like these numbers? It's because they needed to say how they were keeping up with the tips. Yeah, we are diligently going through all of these tips. Okay, well then why the fuck aren't they organized? What'd you do after you went through them? Shove them up your butt? Fuck out of here. That's like saying, hey guys, I put all of this together, put all of this casework together. It's in the most perfect binder. And then when I had to turn over, I just decided to throw it all up in the air and hand it to him. Sounds good. Chooches. All right, guys. Till next time. I'm going to go mail some tips. Email some tips. They got a suitcase full of Post-it notes. Yeah, they did. They got something. Oh my God, is the defense allowed to have an investigator simultaneously obtain DNA from those that they believe are suspects and test it or make trees on their own time? Yeah, like if you... We're going to find out that Miss Potts is over here having sex with police officers, taking the used condoms, and then sending them into 23andMe to make trees. But yeah, they surrender their DNA. What? Yeah. They weren't shooting blanks, man. What? Can you imagine that? There's a huge break in the case. A YouTuber goes and has sex with the entire police department. She claimed that she hated birth control, kept all the condoms, mailed them to Gabrielle Vargas, and she just created all these trees. Come to find out, the condoms were busted. She's pregnant. Lo and behold, the baby that she had is a match. Just kidding. Real dedication over here. I don't know. A lot of great questions. Come to find out, she didn't correctly label any of the condoms. So now we just know that they're police officers. But we don't know which police officers because she didn't correctly label her condom intake. What? Yeah, can you believe it? Oh, shit. What a day. Anyways, Miss Potts, you're just best. When it looks like shit, smells like shit, it is shit. Until next time, guys. Love ya. Peace out. Girl Scouts. Sure.
there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's